Welcome to the Do Good X podcast, a sanctuary from the entrepreneurial grind. Hosts Kimberly Danielle and Stephen Lewis, advocates for impactful entrepreneurship, guide you on the path where purpose meets business. Join us to slow down, reconnect, and explore the challenges of under-resourced entrepreneurs, uncovering the unique journey of building businesses that make a difference. Now, your host.
Welcome to the Do Good X podcast. My name is Kimberly Danielle, and I am a community builder, a coach, and communication strategist who comes from generations of faith-driven leaders and entrepreneurs who believe that our purpose should drive us to contribute to the common good. And as always, here I am with Stephen, my co-host. Hi, Stephen.
Hey, Kimberly. As you know, I'm a catalyst for positive change in communities and businesses. And for over 2 decades, I've inspired leaders and entrepreneurs to live and work on purpose with intention, faith, and a commitment to their well-being. So today, we're going back to an episode from last season with a business consultant, Kyra Barker. She worked across marketing and venture capital, developing strategies to help startups stand out.
Yeah, this episode really spins on the topics of our conversation because she also shares about her deeply personal journey surviving stage 3 cancer, which has informed her values and the way that she now works. And she reminds us that marketing isn't just about the content of campaigns. It's really about solving real problems that people are facing.
Yeah, she goes on to talk about how marketing is not just social media or email campaigns, but its core lies in building a solid brand, understanding customers' needs, and solving those real problems. Kyra says that you don't have to sacrifice your well-being to pursue success. And I love that. And what she reminds us that, that we can take this practical advice that she offers, from when to hire professional help to resources that every entrepreneur should know about. And so this episode really brings a mix of strategy, resilience, her personal story, inspiration that we're excited to share with you again.
We hope that you'll gain some wisdom and encouragement for your journey by listening to this episode. So today we have Kyra Barker, and she is a dedicated business strategist, a cancer survivor, and advocate for achieving success without sacrificing well-being. Exactly one of the things we strive for and push for in this podcast. And she comes with over 15 years of experience in marketing and business. She is a trusted advisor to corporate leaders and entrepreneurs seeking to build and grow flourishing companies. Her extensive experience spans both enterprise and startup environments, making her adept at driving growth across various sectors. And her battle with and triumph over stage 3 rectal cancer fuels her mission to promote a holistic approach to success. As she develops work-well blend, an approach to productivity that puts well-being at the forefront of professional life, she emphasizes the importance of incorporating pillars such as physical activity, nutrition, rest, and creativity. And I had the gift of meeting Kyra before and after her experience with cancer, and hearing her story is so inspiring and so powerful, and so grateful that she is such an advocate with who she is and how she shows up in the world with the work that she is doing. She educates, she inspires, and she advocates through thought-provoking sessions as a speaker, sharing candid insights about her life journey and the valuable lessons that she's learned in business and just through her journey in life. And so we are gifted and grateful to have her. She is a wonderful spirit, and her story is one of strength and resilience that has shaped and informed her journey today. So thank you so much for joining us, Kyra.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you and, of course, with the audience.
So, Kyra, I'm curious, what would you say are the key steps that businesses, at least in the early stages, should be developing for effective marketing strategies to connect their products and services with the right customers and communities that they want to serve?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, what's really important, firstly, is an understanding of marketing in its full capacity. Marketing is not just promotions. It's not just social media management and email campaigns and funnels. The actual core of marketing, the foundation really lies in building a solid brand and in understanding your customer, as everybody speaks about, but also understanding the environment that you're getting into and doing a proper situational analysis. So every marketing strategy, like a proper marketing strategy, needs to begin with a situational analysis. And that is essentially your SWOT, right? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses, the opportunities and the threats that are going to face your company, right? And then and a step that a lot of people overlook is the external environment and how those factors are going to affect your business. So what we do is something called a PESTLE analysis, which covers the political, the economical, the social, the technological, the legal, and environmental factors that are going to affect your business, because you don't operate within silos. You operate in a real world, right? And all of these forces are going to affect your business. So it takes a lot of time, and I think dedication is needed to really do this analysis before you jump out. Because yes, you identify your problem and you get excited and you want to go out and do user research and all of those things. But you can have a great product, but you're not in the right environment for it to flourish and for it to thrive. So I think these two things are really important for startup founders to not overlook. And then, of course, you get into your user research and really understanding your customer base, because that is absolutely essential. And it's not just a matter of making assumptions. It's really going out there and doing the user testing, doing the research, speaking to persons before you even build your product. When you have that idea, not hold on to it, not think you know best, but really understand, okay, what is the actual problem that I'm solving?
So just, that's great. In terms of follow-up question, what I want to ask you, how hard is it to build a tribe of customers that actually kind of journey with your product or service?
Yeah, I think the first thing is really to ensure that you are actually solving a problem, right? Because in this space, we see a lot of products just pop up every day. And they are convinced that this is a solution, right? And then you as a consumer are like, not really. Or you try it once and you realize, I don't actually need this, right? So at the end of the day, you need to really drill down and determine, are you building a vitamin, like a nice to have? Or are you building a painkiller, like something that is actually going to be a solution for a pain point that your customer base has? And then once you identify that, it's going out and talking to them. It's talking to these customers. And so you're going to understand that if they have this pain point, that means they're searching for a solution, right? So it begins with identifying what are the other alternatives that exist. How are people currently solving this problem that they have? It may not have all-in-one solution like what you're providing, but there are going to be different means and methods that are out there. And it's a matter of going to these channels and then connecting with these customers there. Sometimes it may be offline. Sometimes it may be in person, where you observe persons out in restaurants and social settings, in public transportation, like really doing on-the-ground observation first, and then making contact with these potential customers or potential users. And then, as you mentioned, building that solid community and tribe, it's really being active within your communities, offline and online, because you're in a bunch of different communities online. There are mommy groups, there are dad groups, there are different things that are you're just a part of socially, but those are really fertile grounds for you to be able to access the same customers or users that you want to attract. So just being open and honest about what you're building and being able to clearly identify how your solution would solve their problem. It's just a matter of engaging in these conversations. And I have a recent example of that a few weeks ago in a marketing mentorship group. And one of the users created a sort of AI mentoring tool, and he posted it in the group, and I used it, and I thought it was fabulous. It's not something that I ever thought I needed, but he understood the pain points of mentors not having enough hours in a day to be able to reach persons that would want to get their advice. So he developed that tool, and he put it in the community, and that's how he was able to get his first batch of beta testers and users. And he held really great customer interviews with the folks in the group.
How can businesses, entrepreneurs, and founders be conscious of how they can stand out in this overwhelming sea of content to be able to even reach their customers?
I think something that is important to understand and differentiate is that true marketing isn't necessarily about compelling somebody to buy, but it's about amplifying that you have a solution to an existing problem or a need. And when you're doing that, you kind of match that to the customer journey, right? So if you think of yourself as a customer, you go through different phases, right? So there's the information search phase where you have a problem, you're looking for solutions. You're searching on Google, you're searching in grocery stores, wherever, right? You're searching for a problem for that, a solution for that problem, right? So you're typing in different search words, different keywords, that sort of thing on Google, right? So first step, information search. Second step, then you find some solutions, right? You come across the brand, you're now aware. So you're in the awareness phase. You're aware that this company exists and it provides the solution to your problem. Right. Next would be the consideration phase. So you have your multiple solutions. You're considering multiple brands. You're looking at different websites. You're understanding what these services offer and how they can improve, whatever problem you may have. And then you'd make a decision. You choose which one you're going to purchase, which one you're going to buy. You're in the decision phase. And then once you made that purchase, you're now in the retention phase, because it's either you use it again and you become a loyal customer, or you fall off, right? So that's the natural steps of the customer journey: information search, awareness, consideration, decision, and then, retention. So now that you're on the other side as the founder, you have to now be able to match your communications to each step of that journey. So in terms of information search and awareness, you have to create content that attracts persons to your brand. In information search, you're putting out content and communications that mimics the type of questions that people are going to ask when they're searching for a solution to that service. When you're in the awareness phase, or you're trying to get people in the awareness phase, you're amplifying your brand. You're letting them know this is what your company does. This is how your product affects them and provides a solution to their pain points. In the consideration phase is when you start talking about pricing, talking about how you're going to use the product, informing them how to use it, showing testimonials and that sort of thing to get them to that point that they're willing to purchase, right? And then when they're in the purchase phase, you're able to put forward that content that closes the deal, right? And then in the final stage, where we talk about retention, at that stage, you're thinking about your customer loyalty programs. You're thinking about language that amplifies their purchase of the product and encourages them to become advocates for your brand. So it's really essential to be able to put forward communication that matches each step of the customer journey, because you're going to be able to immediately signal to the customer at the different stage that they're at in the journey. And that helps you to cut through the noise. So it's not just sell, promotion, discounts, that sort of thing. It's like really being targeted with your communication through the different channels based on the different journeys or different stages of the journey that the customer is going to be in.
How might entrepreneurs keep up with and determine the most effective marketing outlets for their businesses as communications continues to evolve?
Ask your customers. Ask your customers where they consume their media, where they spend most of their times, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't make sense trying to spread yourself thin on every single platform to capture every possible eyeball. That's not necessary. You need to go back to drilling down to who your customer is and understanding where they are, where are they consuming their media, where are they searching for solutions. Sometimes your customer base is very much into just Google, right? So you do Google ads and you forget Facebook, right? Not because everybody's there, you need to be there. So again, the baseline is really just drilling down on your customer and understanding where they're spending their time and where they're looking at for their solutions, both online and offline.
That's really important consideration. And so one of the things I'm thinking about is that when entrepreneurs do have a little bit more resources where they can bring a marketing expert on board and to hire them, where should they look and what should they keep in mind in terms of the best person or agency to help them develop a marketing strategy and to develop and implement its plan?
They can go to www.kyra-barker.com. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Stuff is fun. That's good.
No, but seriously, in terms of identifying someone, I would say the first thing to do is to really assess if they're giving you a cookie cutter strategy. If they're telling you the same thing that they would tell any other brand, then they're not an astute marketer at all. If you realize they're just coming to you and saying, okay, well, you need to build an email funnel, you need to do this, you need to do that, and get on Instagram and get on TikTok, then they're not an astute marketer. You need to look for someone who has had a bit of success within the industry that you're looking to get into. And even if they haven't, they need to have a keen understanding of the fundamental principles of marketing. So even if you don't know what the fundamental principles of marketing are, Google that first and then assess what the potential marketing strategist on your team is coming to the table with, so that you're not going in blindly. Because a lot of folks out here, especially over the last few years with the rise of technology and digital advertising, they really hone in on just, the growth hacking and the social media management and that sort of thing. But marketing is a lot more than that. And if you're going to be spending money on a marketing strategist, it needs to be somebody who is traditionally trained in the fundamentals of marketing, that can understand that the core of marketing is product, place, price, promotion, right? 4 Ps, not just the promotional aspect, and that it can really help you with your product development. They can help you with your research. They can help you with your distribution strategies. They can help you with your pricing strategies and understand, okay, if you are creating a quote unquote luxury brand, what the pricing should be versus if you're creating a brand for the everyday consumer and what that pricing should be. And to be able to really develop a sound strategy around those fundamental pillars of marketing first before you get into the communication on the hype.
Thank you again, Kyra, for joining us on this episode today. We appreciate the testament that you are in walking, living, breathing, your inspirational story, and the gifts that you bring around strategy and your experience in venture capital and just so much more. So we appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, you are a gift, and we appreciate who you are and what you do in the world. And the world is better off because of your bright light that you are shining from Trinidad, Tobago, and all parts of the world that gets to be participate in the work that you get to do in the world. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here.
And for you folks tuning in, we hope that you join us next time. And until next time, be well and do good.
Thank you for listening to the Do Good X podcast. To continue the conversation or access our resources, visit www.dogoodx.org. Join us again for conversations that will nourish your soul, ignite your dreams, and empower you to build an impactful business, one intentional step at a time. Until then, keep striving, thriving, and doing good.